Coleman SaluSpa inflatable hot tub. And you know, we kicked this thing around buying it for probably, I don't know, months. And it came up on a lightning deal. I want to say it was regularly $5 or $4.99. It came up on a lightning deal for like, you know, $3.69, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna buy it. So we did it. Figured worst case, we're gonna waste $350. Probably wasted more on dumber things, and turned out that this thing is awesome. For what we paid for it and for what it is absolutely awesome. So I'll just kind of talk real quick about our experience with it. So when you first get it, it's basically like your typical inflatable pool. So you gotta blow it up, there's instructions, and fill it up with water. I will say, from the time that you fill it up to the time that it's ready to roll, it's probably about 72 hours. This little heater here is it's okay. I mean, it's not, you know, it's not going to be like your 240 volt heater where the thermostat, it's kind of funky because it'll go up. We keep it up to 104. So this is the control panel here, and I'll unlock it. So it's pretty easy here. You've got temperature up and down. We always keep it up to 104. You have your filters here, so off, on, your flame, and when it reaches the desired temperature of 104, it'll actually shut off. This will turn green. Celsius, Fahrenheit. Obviously, we're in the U.S., so we'll use Fahrenheit. And it's got jets on it. I'll show you that in a second. You can actually set a timer on it too, which I actually have never really figured out, haven't messed with. But this is actually this unit itself. I mean, it's okay. It does its job, but it doesn't heat it very efficiently. Where what I mean by is it'll heat up to like 104, and it'll be very, very hot, and then the thermostat shuts off, and then it goes down to like 100, and then it starts heating up again, and it really takes like all day. So one of the ways that I actually combat that is we have this tankless propane, I don't know, water heater or whatever it is, and it just hooks up to a propane tank and your standard hose over there. And we'll actually drain some of the water. I've got a small little pool pump, and so there's times where I'll actually drain some of the water out and refill it with that unit there, and it'll heat up much, much faster. That's really like in the winter if we're not using it as much. It stays on all the time. We just keep it on 104, and this thing's been running every day for a year, and you know, no issues. It does get weird if you don't clean the filters out, which I'll go over in a second. But if you don't clean the filters out often, you will get error codes because the air is restricted and it can't flow through, or the water can't flow through it. And all you have to do is just change the filters, unplug it, or hit the reset and then reset it, and then just set your settings back on this thing. The other annoying thing is after 72 hours it shuts off, so you have to be mindful of that. I have a reminder that goes off every 48 hours or so that just it just says hot tub, and I know to come out here and unlock the controls and turn the bubbles on, turn them off, and then that seems to reset that timer. So as far as the hot tub itself, I mean, this thing is sturdy. My wife and I are average build. I'm probably 170. I'm 5'10", 170. My wife is about 5'2", 115. And we fit in here just fine, and this is solid. This thing is solid. I mean, it's not going anywhere. We also have 3 kids, which are 9, 6, and 4, and all 5 of us are able to get in here and really enjoy it. So I'll show you real quick the bubbles. You're not going to be able to hear me, but let me just show you this real quick. So the bubbles, actually, for what they are, they're pretty legit. It's pretty comfortable too. So you've got these little air holes around the bottom edge here, all the way around this bottom edge, and that spits out a bunch of forced air, which kind of gives it the illusion that there's jets, but it's really just air bubbles. But it feels nice if you have your back up against it. One thing that we did do is we bought these chairs. I can't really pull them out, but I'll include a link for these. But these chairs are great. They're adjustable. The legs go up and down, and makes it nice so you don't have to sit on that kind of weird textured vinyl bottom. So those are definitely recommended. As far as the filters themselves I'll include a link to those. But the filters, I'll clean them twice. So I'll install a new set of filters. I'll clean them once a week. So I'll do that 2 times. So that's about 3 weeks. And then usually by the 4th week, you can kind of tell that the filters are starting to wear a bit. They're kind of your paper fabric filters, almost like a thicker coffee filter material. And so by the 4th week or so, I'll just toss them and put new ones in. So about once a month, I change the filters on them. And then the chemicals that I use this is all I ever use. So I'll shock it maybe once or twice a week. Just read the instructions. You don't need a lot of this stuff. Usually one of these will last me 2 or 3 months. So these chemicals are really all I use. My wife has eczema, so we don't put too much chlorine in there because it'll bother her and she won't want to go in. This little inflatable deal here loses air a bit, but that's okay. So it's got a little inflatable lid on it, and once you inflate it, it's pretty solid. We actually have a cat and a dog, and they do actually jump on it, and which we don't like, but it's sturdy. And the kids even sometimes, they know they're not supposed to, but I'll catch them climbing on it, and it's very sturdy. So it's got a bunch of buckles, 2 per side, and it buckles down very nicely. We actually had this thing in the winter, and ran it all winter. We probably averaged around 30, 32, kind of around freezing, and it held the temperature just fine. And we didn't notice it wasn't struggling to keep up to 104. It would take a little bit longer to heat, but even in minus 30 degree, it was still keeping the heat just fine. All in all, I mean, this thing's just for what it is. When we were looking at regular hot tubs, I think for a 240, we were looking at around 6,000 installed. I literally would rather buy one of these a year for 5 years than to deal with the hassle and the expense of owning a regular hot tub. We know plenty of people that do, and it seems like they just pay a bunch of money for repairs and fixing things and pumps and cracks. And so our philosophy is, if we get a year out of this, we had to buy a new one, I'd do it again in a heartbeat. So I'll do another review maybe towards the summertime. We'll be using it probably more and keep the temperature down and use it as kind of more of a pool, and maybe turn it up sometimes. But I highly recommend these chairs. I'll provide a link. I'll also provide a link to the type of filters I buy. The chemical here, the Coleman Spa all-in-one shock treatment. And this thing, we use this for all kinds of stuff. We have a camper, and so we'll use it for an external shower. But this brand here is a Gasland, and I think it's around like 3 gallons per minute. And that and a propane tank and a D battery and a water source, you've got hot water. You've got scalding water if you want. So that's really it. If you have any questions, let me know. Figured I don't really see a lot of reviews on these, and I was a bit skeptical, so maybe this helped you out. But that's really about it. So if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks, guys.